Before we start today's topic, let me admit something I used to assume about probate.
You thought it would move faster.
Exactly. I imagined a judge looking at the case, making a decision, and everything wrapping up.
Most people picture probate that way. But probate actually unfolds, step by step.
And when those steps take time, families sometimes assume something must be wrong.
But in many cases, the estate is simply following the structure required by law.
You're watching Understanding Probate, a simple guide to how probate court actually works.
In this series, we break down the structure behind probate cases.
Today's topic: why probate cases often take longer than families expect.
One of the biggest frustrations families have is the feeling that nothing is happening.
Weeks go by. Sometimes months.
And people start asking an understandable question.
Why hasn't the court done anything yet?
But the key insight is that probate is not one decision.
It is a structured sequence of steps.
And those steps unfold over time.
To understand the pace of probate, it helps to see the overall timeline.
The process begins with opening the estate and appointing the personal representative.
Then comes the work of notifying creditors and gathering information about the estate.
Only after those steps can the estate reach the final accounting and distribution. Which means the timeline can feel slower than people expect.
But those pauses exist for a reason.
And once you understand the structure, the timeline makes much more sense. One reason probate feels confusing is that different people are looking at the same situation in different ways.
From the outside, families often see long periods where nothing seems to change.
But inside the probate process, several tasks may be unfolding during that same time.
This difference in perspective can be illustrated very simply. From the family's perspective, it may feel like time is simply passing.
But during that same time, the estate may be working through several legal requirements.
And some of those tasks happen quietly, without any visible court hearing.
For example, gathering information about assets can take time.
Financial institutions may need to confirm balances.
Property records may need to be checked.
And creditors must be given time to come forward.
All of this work happens before the final numbers of the estate are known.
Which means the court cannot move to the final stage yet.
The estate first has to confirm exactly what exists.
And what obligations still need to be resolved.
Only after that can the estate move toward closing.
Which brings us back to the timeline we saw earlier.
Each step has to be completed before the next one can begin.
And that sequence is what determines the pace of probate.
So when probate feels slow, it is often the structure doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Protecting the accuracy of the estate before anything is distributed.
And in the next section we'll look more closely at one part of that timeline.
One step in the probate process surprises many families.
It's the period where creditors are given time to come forward.
Even if the family believes they already know all the debts.
The law requires the estate to formally notify potential creditors.
Which often involves publishing a notice and allowing time for responses.
During that time, the estate cannot simply skip ahead to distribution.
Because the court wants to make sure all legitimate claims are considered.
This waiting period protects both the estate and the beneficiaries.
It prevents assets from being distributed before debts are addressed.
And that safeguard is built directly into the probate timeline.
The creditor notice stage sits early in the process.
Which means several later stages cannot begin until this one is complete.
So while families may feel like the case is paused,
the probate process is actually following its required timeline.
And this is just one example of why probate can take time.
Other steps involve gathering records and confirming asset values,
which can involve banks, property records, and financial institutions.
Each of those steps adds time to the process.
But each one also improves the accuracy of the final accounting.
Which ultimately protects the people who will receive the inheritance.
And that careful process is why probate often moves in months rather than weeks.
In the final section, we'll connect these steps back to the overall timeline. So when people ask why probate takes time, the answer usually lies in the structure of the process.
Each stage must be completed before the next stage begins.
Which means probate moves forward in stages rather than all at once.
And when you look at the entire sequence, the timeline becomes easier to understand.
Each step represents work that must happen before the estate can close.
And some of those stages include built-in waiting periods required by law.
Which is why probate cases often unfold over several months.
Even when everyone involved is working responsibly.
Because the goal is to make sure the estate's numbers are correct
before anything is distributed to beneficiaries.
Understanding this structure helps explain why probate moves the way it does.
But there is another important piece of the puzzle.
What information the court actually sees during a probate case.
Because many conversations between attorneys never reach the judge at all.
And understanding that difference explains a lot about how probate court works.
We'll explore that in our next episode.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you in the next episode.